G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we will be looking at the Fanstoys Sheridan, aka Masterpiece Warpath. And here he is. I've had him for about a day or so. I did try making this video before, it didn't quite work. So yeah, it is what it is. Certain things just don't want to line up on mine, but never mind. And I got this guy from Dan's game store, so I was pretty happy with that. You know, I've dealt with him a couple of times, and I'm pretty happy with the reaction I get. He's very, very responsive in emails. I won't say that the others aren't, but he's very super responsive, usually pretty quick, depending on what time I send him an email. So here we go. Here he is from the side. Obviously, the Autobot symbol does not come with this figure. That is After Party. You know, got it off my stick sheet. So there is from the front, the other side, the back, the top. There is a little bit of a gap back there, but oh well. And of course the bottom, so we can see part of the robot. Turret can technically turn a full 360, but that gets in the way. Cannon can go up and down, even though that just sometimes happens. And if you want, you can come back here, and if I can get my nail in, oops, I'm lifting his head up instead. I clipped my nails last night, now I can't get open, there we go. You can open up this little bit if you want sort of the take driver to stick his head out if he had one, but all it is in there is a screw. So, let's get down to comparisons, and then we'll get down to transformation. Here he is with War for Cybertron, Warpath, who was my representation of Warpath until this guy just recently showed up. And he is still pretty decent. Honestly, I might keep this guy in tank mode and keep him in robot mode. And of course, what would a size comparison be without Windblade? She is longer than he is, a little bit taller than he is because of the blade. Obviously wider because of the wingspan, but he's still a good size figure, and he's pretty heavy. Now, the other accessories we will get down to after transformation. I will say, as always, Fanstoys scare the crap out of me until I've transformed it a couple of times, and then I'm pretty right. Oh, by the way, if you want a cheeky extra mode, you can lift his head up, and now he's peeking out. So there is that. So let's see. We will start with the back here. You're going to sort of just lift this up, and that will free these. That can fold over both sides. And I will say this popped off on me when I was first transforming. He does come in robot mode. We're then going to sort of start untabbing the arms if we can get it out. Whoops, I'm untabbing other things instead. Come on. He is very secure. There we go. There's one. This right arm, this other arm, I don't know why. There we go. It's always very secure. Personally also, I wish these sort of tab together. So we'll leave that for the moment, and we will keep working up this end and get us a little bit more clearance. So what we're going to do, no, we won't even need that yet. We're going to pull this out. Oh, hang on, I almost forgot. Come under here, untab these. Oh, I will point out, you can see the tracks here. The only reason for that, I don't feel like getting out the tool again to get it out. So once that's done, you can untab both sides. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lift this up, because this will become the body, and we can just tab that in. I will say that scared the crap out of me, as always, when I first transformed him. Now, we will do the legs, and then we'll work on the upper body. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this piece up. I keep trying to look in the camera so I know you can actually see it. This will fold out, leaving all this. You can then slide that up until it clicks. And then you're going to do your best and try and get your nail in here. And you may have to rotate this around a bit just to get yourself some clearance. But you're going to untab that, roll this back, and then you're going to spin this around, providing you can find the clearance for it. So like I said, you just got to keep moving that leg until you can find the clearance you need. There we go. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put this flap on this side, which was the opposite when it was in tank mode, so that when this comes down, this port will go onto this tab. You can see mine's a little painted, has come off, but oh well, it is what it is, but I'm not too worried. And then what we can do is we can try and get the leg around the right way. And providing it hasn't already, and be careful because if you try to push this in, it's going to break. But make sure this little tab is folded out. Then put the knee in place and then tab that in. And voila, we have a leg almost done. Just push up the tracks. Just did that when I moved it. And then rotate this up. And then you have his foot all done. Back in a second. There we go. We have the legs all done. Now we will continue with the body. What we're going to do is we're going to lift this up. And we can push the head out at the same time. Now what you're going to do is rotate the turret. So you have this long ways. You're then, it would be helpful if we do this first. Fold this in, fold this in, and that'll sort of form a sort of a triangle shape here. And then you're going to rotate this to the side so it's all lines up like this. Then we're going to accordion these out so that these pieces, whoops, you can't even see that. So try to get it in a minute. These pieces are going to go on the outside. So right now they're on the in. We're going to try and do our best. And voila, they're on the outside. Honestly, it does make me scared. Look, that one actually did it without me really having to do any much effort. So there we go. And then what we're going to do is this is going to slide through here. So by having this arrangement, that gives it clearance. So then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this, fold this up, fold this down, rotate it around so that silver piece is a little bit in the way, and that comes down, this comes down, lock it back into place, and now his torso is where it's supposed to be. Right, so what we're going to have to do here is, if you can see it, we've pushed this tab out. Now, this bit always doesn't quite give me. What I got to do is I got to get the head through here. And every time I've done it, and it's going to prove me wrong this time, it's got to go through there and you just sort of have to wiggle with it. And what you want to do is you want to get this at a different angle. And I think I've got this one right, but this one's wrong. So it's just a matter of trying to get the angle the right way. I'm trying to remember if it's this way. Actually, it might be the other way. I gotta remember now. Yeah, I think it's out. Alright, so we get that over here, like so, and then this can come down once it gets all the way through, and they can just tab in the back, like so. I honestly think I've got them around the wrong way. 1 second. Yep, I was right, I had the wrong way. So you want it sort of like this, so sort of a backward 7 or a proper 7 if you look from the other side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come under here and wrap these around the cannon, and there's just a couple of tab spots underneath. Just sort of keep squeezing until it's all sort of tabbed into place, like so. There we go. And then what we can do is we can rotate the head around, and then this folds down, fills in that gap, and voila. Now, we can deal with the arms. Now, I'm going to try something. 1 second. Okay, so originally when I transformed this, I pulled out the whole shoulder to give it clearance, but you don't necessarily need it because all you got to do is make sure that this tab stays on this side. So what you can do is sort of push back, and that puts in the right place as well. So ironically, that one's in the wrong spot. So this one I'm going to have to, whoops, untap, and you're just going to fold it back. Whoop, get back in there. Tab back in there. Hang on. All right, I've got it all back in. So, almost finished. Now, in theory, these should already be collapsed. If they're like mine and already fought me out, then they won't be. So all you're going to do, pull down the arm. You can push back on the tracks if you want. You can then flip the hand out, flip this down, position just the right way, and tab it in. And that's when I'm all done. Do the same on the other side. Fold out, tab that in. And we have Warpath all transformed in his robot mode, and he looks amazing. Definitely not G1 accurate, which I know there's a lot of us who are like, oh, it's got to have G1 accuracy, you know. I'm sorry, but Warpath was never this built. You know, he was an absolute monster for the War Dog version, but here he's a lot more of a heroic style. So there we go. He has nice blue for the eyes. So yeah, he looks really good. So as for articulation, his head can do a full 360. It can look up that far, it can look down that far. Arms can technically do a full 360, but the shoulder hits this, so you really have to pull it out if you want the full 360. You can get the arms up that far. If you want to go further, I suppose you could just rotate that a bit, and that gets you up even further. So that's up to you. Honestly, compressing that scares the shit out of me too. His arms can go that far forward. He has bicep rotation. He has wrist rotation, but it keeps undoing the tab that holds his hand into place. And it's super tight. I'll just say that much. It is super tight. He does have typewriter fingers. He has a peg here, and if you heard that, it's just my dinnery. You have these fingers in typewriter, and the thumb does not move. He has waist rotation, which is very tight on mine. He does have one hell of an ab crunch, so he can literally look at his feet. If you lift up this flap, his legs can go up that far and go back that far. Try to move his arm out of the way. If you lift up this flap, it can go out that far. He has hip rotation. He has single jointed knee that gets you that far. I've got stuff and I don't know what it is. It goes that far. You can obviously see the tracks on the side, which is slightly disappointing, but it is what it is. Suppose if you really wanted to fiddle with it, you could always flip the legs around, but then you'd see screws. You have ankle tilt that far. You can go down that far with toe, that far up. Of course, you can always use the transformation joint and get even further if that's something you want to do. So there we go. So just from the different angles, there he is from the side, there he is from the back. So pretty decent backpack, pretty clean, honestly. So there we go. Now as for accessories, he does come with a card with stuff on the back that I can't read at that size. And he comes with an accessory, which of course is the mask from Hoist Goes to Hollywood. So technically I think I now have them all. So there we go. So final size comparisons. There he is with War for Cybertron Warpath. And I will point out you can compress the gun, although personally I think that Warpath should have a very prominent cannon as far as I'm concerned. So there's him. And there he is with MP10. He is meant to be a mini bot, so I get the size difference, but I don't know, I think he should be a little bit taller. But he does go well with the other car bots and whatnot. I would compare him to my Zeta Brawl and Blitzwing, but I can't be bothered grabbing them. So, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you, it will not hurt my feelings. If you'd like, you can even subscribe and ring the bell if you want to see all the other posts that I get. Maybe even leave me a comment. Tell me, is this guy better than the other one that I'm currently blanking on at the moment, the War Dog. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.